They mocked her quietness, not knowing she was listening and learning everything. Please stay with me as I tell my story. And please, do not forget to support our channel by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and sharing your loved ones. Your support means the world to us. Now to our story. She sat alone on the edge of the couch, her back straight, phone in hand, eyes fixed on the glowing screen as if she were scrolling. But she wasn't. Her screen was dark. Her ears were wide open. The music thumped lightly through the floorboard. Laughter echoed from the kitchen. Someone opened a bottle with a loud pop, and a cheer followed. The house was crowded with people from work, her team, her managers, even her mentor. Everyone pretending to be friendly. But tonight, when they thought she wasn't listening, the masks dropped. I don't know how she still has a job here, someone said behind. It was Jason. She recognized his voice instantly. He sat across from her at the office. Always smiled. Always offered gum. I swear, she hasn't spoken a full sentence since she joined, another voice replied, giggling. Ashley, the intern everyone loved for her energy. She once told her she liked her sweater. Management's keeping her around to tick their little diversity box. A third voice cut in. Deeper. Confident. Her mentor, Reby. That stung more than the others. He'd helped her with her first project. Or so she thought. She kept still. Eyes on her screen. Not even a blink. She's not just useless, Reby continued. She's a liability. You remember that monthly report fiasco? I told HR she submitted the wrong figures. But guess who actually did it? He laughed. We switched the attachments and blamed it on her. Clean. She didn't even notice. They all laughed. She felt her stomach twist, but she didn't move. Her hand was steady. Her lips neutral. I'd bet money she doesn't even realize half the shit going on in the office, Ashley said. You think she knows about the bonus fund scam? No chance, Jason answered. She probably thinks Ravi's just working late for fun. She wanted to stand up, scream, slam her drink into Ravi's smug face. But she didn't. Not yet. She blinked slowly, breathed in, breathed out. The music shifted. Someone called for another round of shots. The group behind her moved away. She sat there a moment longer, still as a statue. Then, slowly, she lifted the drink to her lips and took a sip. Weak. Too much soda. She placed it down carefully on the glass table beside her, wiped a droplet from the rim with her thumb. And then, just a flicker, she smiled. They thought she was quiet because she was weak. But she had heard everything. And now, she was never going to forget. She walked into the office on Monday like it was any other day. Same cardigan, same soft steps, same polite nods to the receptionist, and the guy who always spilled coffee near the elevator. No one looked twice. No one ever did. She liked it that way. Her computer booted up with a quiet hum. While coworkers laughed loudly about the weekend and argued over cold brew flavors, she opened her email and clicked through every thread they'd forgotten to delete. She didn't react, just clicked, saved, filed. Each message tucked carefully into a hidden folder on a drive they didn't know existed. Slack was next. Private messages. Emoji reactions. Little signs of fake apologies, subtle digs, inside jokes made at her expense. She didn't reply to any of them. Instead, she copied the conversations into a doc. Names. Timestamps. Even the typos. They'd underestimated her spelling, too. During lunch, while everyone gathered in the lounge to gossip, she took her food outside. Not to eat, just to breathe. Her hands trembled slightly, but her eyes stayed focused. She had work to do. Quiet work. Later that evening, after most of the office had gone home, she walked past Jason's desk. A crumpled sticky note sat in his trash bin with numbers and a login code. She slipped on gloves and took a photo. On another desk, she spotted a notebook with scribbles about fund transfers. She took note of the bank name. None of this was a reaction. It was a plan. A process. They didn't know who she was. She hadn't told them about her mother, who taught her to blend in so the world wouldn't snap at her, who cleaned houses during the day and stitched clothes at night, and still made time to remind her. If they don't hear your voice, make them fear your silence. She had been raised to notice details. The kind of details others missed while they were too busy being loud. She knew how to read people, their tone, their footsteps, the lies in their eyes when they smiled too wide. They thought she was just a quiet immigrant girl, lucky to be here. But she wasn't lucky. She was calculating. Every smile she gave was measured. Every silence was full of thought. Every time she said thank you, she filed away who ignored her, who looked past her, who smirked when they thought she didn't notice. They all underestimated her. Now she had proof. And she wasn't done collecting. That night, she sat at her kitchen table with nothing but her laptop, a cup of tea gone cold, and the city buzzing faintly outside her window. Her apartment was small, neat, and silent, just how she liked it. She opened a private browser window, created a new email account. No name, no trace, no connection. She titled the message simply, HR, urgent concern regarding credentials. Attached was a screenshot of Jason's resume, lifted from a shared folder weeks ago, and beside it, the real records from the university's public database. His degree didn't exist. The certificate was fake. She added a short message. I believe this should be verified. I'd prefer to remain anonymous. Then she clicked send. The next morning, nothing seemed different. Jason laughed louder than usual, cracked jokes near the copier, called her Miss Mystery as she passed him in the hallway. She just smiled and walked by. By noon, he was pulled into a conference room. By 3 p.m., his desk was cleared. Administrative leave pending investigation. The entire office buzzed like a kicked anthill. What happened? Was it performance? Maybe he had a breakdown? She listened, sipped her coffee, took notes in her head. Nobody looked at her. Nobody even considered her. Because to them, she was invisible. She watched them from her desk, Ashley pacing, texting furiously, Reby calling someone on his cell just outside, face tight and anxious. Their confidence cracked just a little. That's all she needed. By Friday, the whispers started. If Jason goes down, he's taking others with him. Wasn't he on the same project as Reby last quarter? Who even reported him? She walked past their huddles unnoticed, as always. What they didn't know was that this was only step one. She hadn't exposed everything, just enough to make the floor beneath them shift. The beauty of it was in the simplicity. A quiet tip, one lie exposed. And suddenly, the alliances they leaned on started shaking. No one suspected her. They thought she was too sweet, too soft, too quiet. But quiet wasn't weakness. It was cover. She went home that night and opened her laptop again. This time, she created a spreadsheet. Titled it, Truth in Order. Row 1, Jason, fake degree. Sent to HR 9:16 p.m. Row 2, Ashley, falsified time reports, next target. Row 3, Reby, internal memo edit history, collect evidence. The game had started, and she was already 5 moves ahead. It was late when she sent the email. Just a few photos, nothing dramatic. Grainy images of her boss, Daniel, walking into a hotel with Ashley, the bubbly intern who once called her emotionally unavailable, like a furniture piece. The date on the hotel sign was clear. So was the time. Ashley was clocked in at work that day. The email went to a few anonymous tip lines, HR legal, and carefully to a handful of office gossip accounts run by employees who loved chaos more than job security. She didn't sign her name. She never did. The next morning, she came in early, sat down, opened her laptop, and waited. By 10 a.m., people stopped pretending to work. Screens were refreshed again and again. Slack channels exploded with emoji reactions. A whisper traveled faster than the coffee machine could brew. Did you see it? Oh my God. Is that Ashley? That's Daniel, right? I knew it. He was always too helpful with her. HR sent out a vague email about employee privacy and professional decorum that only made people more curious. Ashley didn't come in that day. Daniel locked himself in his office. Meetings were canceled. Conversations were clipped. Everyone spoke in low voices, glancing around like they were being watched. She sat at her desk, calm, answered emails, updated a spreadsheet. Someone from another team walked by, leaned close, and whispered, "It's chaos out there. You're lucky you're not involved." She turned and gave the smallest smile. "Yeah," she said. "Lucky." Inside, she felt nothing. Not guilt. Not satisfaction. Just control. She remembered sitting 2 desks away from Daniel last month, hearing him tell someone she lacked emotional intelligence and was hard to work with. He said it in a joking way, like it was a compliment, like she should be flattered that he noticed her at all. Ashley laughed along, sipping her iced coffee. Now the both of them were silent. She had timed it perfectly, right after Jason's removal, while everyone's nerves were still raw. 1 exposure could be explained away. 2. That was a pattern. And still, no one looked at her. She opened a new folder on her computer and titled it, Ashley, expense card abuse / calendar logs / receipts. The more they panicked, the quieter she became. She was invisible again, exactly where she wanted to be. She waited until the office was nearly empty that Friday evening. Most people had left early, still shaken from the Ashley Daniels scandal. Only a few stayed behind, quietly clicking away at keyboards, avoiding eye contact. She stayed too, headphones in, pretending to work. At exactly 6:42 p.m., she slipped a small USB into her desktop and opened the internal project archive. It took only 3 minutes to find it, the proposal. Client Innovation Expansion, submitted by Claire M. Claire, her best friend, the one who once brought her birthday cupcakes, sat with her during awkward team lunches and told her, "I've got your back always." The document was almost identical to the one she had spent weeks perfecting. Every slide, every concept, every detail copied. A few words changed, her name erased. Claire had even used the same title she had scribbled into her personal note. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She opened a folder she had kept hidden for months. Inside were drafts with creation dates, email backups, even an audio file of herself brainstorming ideas out loud at home. She bundled them together, zipped the folder, and uploaded it into a clean, anonymous drive. Then she opened her dummy email again. This time, she addressed it to only one person, the CEO. Subject line: fraudulent project submission, evidence enclosed. The body was just one line. The truth deserves a louder voice. She pressed send. The next morning, Claire wasn't at her desk. By noon, word spread. Claire had been escorted out by security. Her badge deactivated. No explanations given. Only the stunned silence of those who had once praised her as the future of the company. No one dared to ask questions. She walked past Claire's now empty desk, the chair slightly turned, a half-drunk iced latte still sitting by the monitor. No one noticed her glance. She remembered the day Claire had come to her in a panic, saying her project idea had been rejected by their manager, and she didn't know what to do. She had offered to help. She had shown her pieces of her own proposal. Trusted her. Claire had smiled and said, "You're seriously a genius. I wish I thought like you," and then stolen everything. Now she was gone. No announcement. No goodbye. Just silence. She opened her own inbox. Nothing there. No recognition. No praise. But that didn't matter. She had her work back. And someone very high up knew it was hers now. She closed her laptop and smiled slightly. Another piece in place. It took her 2 days to write the post. Not because she didn't know what to say. She knew exactly what happened, down to the minute, but because every word had to hit just right. It had to sound raw, frustrated, honest. Not like revenge. Like truth. The title was simple. My boss's favorite employee stole my work and got me written up for it. She wrote about how she had trusted someone she thought was a friend. How the friend had taken her project, claimed it as her own, and was rewarded with praise and promotions. How, when she tried to speak up, she was told she lacked team spirit and was given an official warning for disrupting morale. She didn't name names, but she didn't need to. She described the stolen idea, the timeline, the fake warning, the way her company liked to parade her around for diversity optics, but never actually listened to her. She made sure to mention the scandal that had recently rocked our internal leadership. People were smart. Reddit was smarter. By the end of the day, the post had 23,000 upvotes. By the next morning, someone had matched the project details with a recent press release from her company. By lunch, people were tweeting at the company's official account. Care to explain this? Is this the same company where the boss was cheating with an intern last week? This is why quiet employees don't speak up. You punish them. She sat at her desk as the storm unfolded. An emergency all-hands meeting was scheduled, then canceled. PR scrambled to release a generic statement about internal reviews and taking allegations seriously. It didn't help. Their stock dipped by 5% in 2 days. A reporter from a business magazine tweeted, "Heard some wild things about company name. Might be worth digging into." Internally, things were falling apart. Managers avoided eye contact. Slack channels were dead quiet. Someone in HR quit with no explanation. Ashley's name was quietly removed from a project page. And still, no one looked at her. One coworker leaned over to whisper, "I think it's someone from the marketing team. They're the ones who always get salty about promotions." She shrugged. Could be. She minimized the browser window where her Reddit post continued to climb in karma. At the bottom of the thread, someone had commented, "Whoever you are, I hope you get everything they tried to steal from you." She stared at that comment for a long time. Then she upvoted it. She had waited long enough. The falsified report, the one Reby and the others had blamed on her, was still sitting in the company's internal archive. But this time, she had more than just copies. She had proof, old email threads, Slack messages with edits made in real time, even a screen recording from months ago when Reby had changed the file name just before submitting it to the board. She gathered everything. Dates, names, metadata. Put it in a folder and zipped it. Then she contacted a journalist. Not just any journalist, a business tech writer known for exposing shady corporate practices. The kind that didn't pull punches. She sent a short, careful email from a burner address. "I have documents proving my employer falsified internal reports and attempted to pin it on an employee. It was retaliation for speaking up. If you're interested, I'll send everything." He replied within 2 hours. "Absolutely. Send it over." She did. Within 3 days, the article was live. Exclusive. Whistleblower exposes fraud. Retaliation inside company name. Her name wasn't in the article, but Reby's was. So was Daniels. Even the falsified report itself was linked in the piece, with all the dirty details highlighted. Her anonymous quotes were there too, each one calm, sharp, and backed by evidence. The story caught fire. By the afternoon, federal regulators announced they were looking into the matter. The company released a panicked statement denying wrongdoing, but promising full cooperation. It was too late. Daniel didn't show up to work the next day. Ravi tried to act normal, but by the end of the week, he quietly resigned. No farewell email, no goodbyes, just gone. People in the office were stunned. One by one, they started whispering again. This time, not about her. Did you read the article? Can they really investigate us? Who the hell did this? She sat at her desk, watching it all crumble. No one suspected her. They were still stuck looking for someone loud, someone obvious. They didn't understand silence as a weapon. Someone dropped a copy of the article in the main Slack channel by accident. A second later, it was deleted. Too late. Everyone had seen it. She minimized the tab, leaned back in her chair, and folded her hands in her lap. Her phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. That was one hell of a move. She didn't reply. She didn't need to. Her silence had finally spoken. The office was quiet when she walked in that morning. Not the usual buzz of conversation or clatter of keyboard. Just stillness, thick and awkward. She stepped through the glass doors, badge clicking against her hip, and for the first time since she started working there, people looked up at her. They didn't glance and turn away like usual. They watched. Some looked confused, some nervous. One or two just looked guilty. She walked past the reception desk, past the break room where whispers died the moment she appeared. Every step felt like walking through fog, thick with the weight of realization. At her desk, a stack of papers waited. Reports to check, emails to answer. Same as always, but she could feel it. Something had shifted. Hey, someone said quietly. It was Rachel from accounting. They'd never had a full conversation. Rachel hesitated. We didn't know. She didn't look up right away. When she did, her voice was calm. You weren't supposed to. Rachel blinked. What does that mean? She gave a small smile. If I'd made noise too soon, you all would have just talked louder. Rachel opened her mouth, then closed it. She nodded once and walked away. More people passed by. Some nodded. Some offered awkward smiles. A few simply avoided her eyes. The intern at the far desk, a new one, whispered something to a colleague. The colleague shook her head and said, That's the one. She's the one who didn't say a word and burned it all down. She heard it. She let it sit. Emails rolled in. Meetings were rescheduled. Compliance officers were now a permanent fixture on the floor. No one offered her lunch plan. No one asked if she was okay. That was fine. She didn't need their kindness now. Not when it had always come with strings before. What she needed was quiet. She got it. The CEO sent out a company-wide memo that morning about transparency and rebuilding trust. HR pushed out a survey asking employees to report any unethical behavior they've witnessed or experienced. It was all too late. She leaned back in her chair, watched her monitor glow with numbers and charts, and listened to the silence around her. It wasn't like before. This silence wasn't ignorance. It was respect, or maybe fear. Either way, they finally saw her, and they knew she hadn't needed to shout to change everything. She just had to wait until the noise destroyed itself. They started showing up one by one. First came Ravi's replacement, eyes wide with nerves, carrying a fake smile and a box of company swag. We value your voice here, she said gently, as if speaking to a child. If you ever feel unheard again, my door's always open. She nodded. Appreciate that, she replied with a smile. Then came Ashley. Pale, shaky, voice small. I didn't know what they were doing, she said quickly. I didn't know what Ravi planned, or that the report. I never meant to hurt you. She waited for more. An honest apology. A real one. It didn't come. Ashley just stared, hoping silence would fill in the gaps. She answered calmly. I think you're sorry you got caught. Ashley flinched, then left. Claire tried next. The friend. I made a mistake, she said, standing by her desk like she hadn't committed theft. I panicked. I didn't think anyone would notice. But I miss our friendship. She looked up at Claire, eyebrows raised. What friendship? Claire's face twisted. We were close. No, she said, her voice level. I was convenient. There's a difference. She went back to typing. Claire stood there a moment, then walked away without another word. By lunchtime, even Daniel, her boss, the one who never knew her name until the scandals broke, sent her a carefully crafted message full of corporate language. Your unique contributions have always been appreciated, and we regret any oversight. She deleted it without opening. She didn't need their apologies. She didn't want them. Because 2 days ago, she signed a new contract with a rival firm across town. A company that reached out directly. They'd read the article. They'd read between the lines. They didn't ask what she had done. They asked what she wanted to do next. Her new title, Director of Strategy. Her start date, Monday. Now, at the end of the day, she packed her things. Slowly, calmly. No ceremony. No drama. Just a cardboard box, a few notebooks, a mug she liked, and a desk that had never really felt hers anyway. On her way out, she paused by the exit, pulled her ID badge from the lanyard, turned it in her hand once, then dropped it straight into the trash can without looking back. The security guard at the door nodded at her. Good luck out there. She smiled. I won't need luck. And then she walked out. No goodbye party. No fake hugs. Just freedom. The office was quiet, her kind of quiet. No shouting, no fake laughter, no passive-aggressive chatter. Just the soft hum of city life through glass, and the distant clink of someone making coffee down the hall. She sat in a corner office, 26 floors up. Floor-to-ceiling windows gave her a view of the skyline, clean, sharp, powerful. The desk in front of her was minimal. One laptop, one notebook, one mug of hot coffee. No clutter, just clarity. She leaned back in her chair, watching as the sun reflected off mirrored building. Her phone buzzed once. A message from a colleague. Check out Daniel's new post. Unreal. She clicked the link and opened LinkedIn. There he was, Daniel, her old boss, smiling stiffly in a profile photo that had definitely been taken before everything went south. Excited to launch my new consulting firm, helping companies recover from internal challenges and rebuild trust. She raised an eyebrow. Bold move. Then she scrolled through the comments. You're the last person who should be giving advice. Trust? Seriously? Didn't your last company nearly collapse under your leadership? Dozens of them. Brutal, direct, unforgiving. She didn't like to gloat, but she allowed herself one tiny smirk. Then she closed the tab. That part of her life was done. Her office door was slightly open, and she could hear a junior associate pitching a new campaign down the hall. Nervous, excited, fast-talking. She smiled. She remembered being that person, sitting quietly, unsure if anyone heard her ideas. Now they listened, not because she demanded attention, but because she had proven that silence wasn't weakness. It was precision. She reached for her coffee, still warm, still strong. Behind her, the wind moved gently against the windows. She had no need for speeches, no need to remind anyone what she'd done or who she was. They already knew. Every idea she offered in meetings was followed with nods. Every decision she made carried weight. Her inbox was full of people asking for advice, not because she asked for authority, but because she had earned it. She sipped her coffee and looked out at the city again. Still quiet, still listening. But this time, when she spoke, everyone listened back.